Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is me showing you how to use this guy. I'm sure so many of you are tired of hearing about this stupid palette, but I know a lot of people do have this palette because they got it the minute it launched like I did. And when they got it, they were a little bit disappointed, like I was, with just how the shadows blended out, how they oxidized, how they were a little bit patchy. Bottom line, this palette is just not easy to work with. It is workable, like I'll show you in this video. I show you ways that I like to use it, ways that work best for me, because these colors, I'll show you. These colors are so beautiful, and I can't not use this palette. Like, as much as it's difficult to work with, I have to make it work. So if you want to see some tips and tricks on how to use the Anastasia Subculture, I don't even know if I said the name of the palette. I mean, I didn't have to, we all know what this is. Just stay tuned. So if you saw my Instagram post that I wrote about this, my thoughts on this really haven't changed much since I posted that picture. You can read that. I went into detail about it. But I have been playing around with it more, and I have found that it works out a lot better with other shadows. So pretty much what I like to do is, if I'm going to use like a transition shade from this palette, I'll use a crease shade from another palette, or vice versa. And as long as you don't mix too many of these together, or like blend them together, then I think it works out just fine. If I hadn't already gotten this palette before all the bad reviews came out, I honestly still probably would get it just because I love the colors so much. These are like all of my favorite colors. But I also am a makeup enthusiast, and I do spend like hours on my eyeshadow when I do it. So if you're not like me and you want something that you can just put on and go, this is not for you. But if you are like me, then you might want to look into this. So I have already primed my eyes and set that primer with a translucent powder. I don't really have an idea of what this look is going to be yet, so I'm just going to kind of go with it. I think for my transition shade though, I do want to use this color called Edge, which is this mustard color, which if you know me, you know that I love everything mustard. And you need the teeniest, tiniest bit of this. Don't go overboard. You see, I'm just going to go. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. This is on my Smith 232. And I'm sorry, I wish I could get you closer, but I can't zoom in anymore. And I'm just going to buff that in circular motions in my crease. This color does come off a little bit darker on the eyes than it does in the pan, but it still looks mustard to me, so. I just washed all my brushes last night for the first time in like a million years, and I'm so excited about it. I need to wash my brushes more often because you can really tell a difference between using a clean brush and a dirty brush. And I'm just going back in and kind of building this up until it is the way that I like it. Next, I'm going to go in on a Smith 247 with the shade Dusty Rose, also from Anastasia, and I'm just going to put that in my crease. And next I'm going to go in with the shade Mercury on a Smith 230 brush. And I'm just going to put this in my outer corner area. And I'm okay with doing this because I used the shade Edge in my transition color, and then I used another shade from another palette in my crease. So there isn't too much overlap. So they're not going to blend together too much. I don't know if you can see, but see this spot right here? The color like isn't sticking right there. And that's an issue that I've had with a lot of the darker colors in this palette. So I'm just going to pack this on right there and hope for the best. I'm gonna go back in with that. I just like ate that brush. I'm gonna go back in with that Dusty Rose shade and buff this out on my lower lash line. Then I'm gonna buff that out with a little bit of the shade Edge again. And because I'm still having an issue with that outer corner, I'm gonna go back in with this brush that came with the palette. And this is actually a really nice brush. I'm really happy with this. I'm gonna go in with that shade Mercury and just like pat it on to hopefully get rid of that gap. I'm gonna go in with the shade Dark Chocolate Shimmer, which is a single from Anastasia, and just put it right over that spot because I can't do that. Okay, I still have that spot, but there's nothing I can do about it. Next, I'm gonna go in with the shade Daydreamer from MakeupGeek, which is like a really pretty lilac foiled shade, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid. And I always do lid shades with my finger just because it works the best. Next, I'm gonna go in with the shade 143 from Colourpop, and I'm just gonna put that on like this inner third of my lower lash line. I'm gonna put the shade Cube on my inner corner, and I've had a lot of trouble with the shade. Like, it doesn't show up at all, but I'm gonna try to make it work. Whoa, it's actually showing up. Wow, that's the best I've gotten it to work. Can you see? You probably can't see it very well, but okay. I'm going to apply lashes and mascara off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so I did lashes, mascara, and lipstick off camera. I applied House of Lashes Boudoir, and my lips are Milani's Matte Naked lipstick. So this is the finished look. This lash is kind of weird, but we're just gonna ignore that. So this palette, obviously it is usable. I do really like this look that I made. I did have an issue with the shade Mercury over here. My lashes kind of covered it up so you couldn't really see, but right there, the color just would not stick. I don't know why. I've had that same problem with the shade Axis, Rowdy, Fudge, Destiny. This is the worst shade, Destiny. Every time I use this, I instantly regret it. It's just bad. I do think this palette though is a lot easier to use in conjunction with other eyeshadows, so that's what I like to do. I like to use single shadows or shadows from another palette, and like I showed you, I like to do a transition shade from this palette or a crease shade from this palette. And just as long as I'm not mixing colors together too much, I'm fine. So if you do have this palette and you're not able to work with it, hopefully I showed you some ways to use it that are easier. If you don't have this palette and you still want it, regardless of the bad reviews, just because the colors are so beautiful, which I totally understand, hopefully it works out for you better than it worked out for me. I do think there are some inconsistencies with these palettes because a lot of other people's palettes, the shimmer shades like Adorn and Electric and Cube are like horrible for them, but for me, those shades are like the best ones of the palette. So hopefully Anastasia can, I don't know, release a statement or an explanation or something as to why so many people are having problems with this palette, and maybe they can not just get on their Instagram story and tell us that we don't know how to use eyeshadow. That made me a little bit angry. When they were on there, they had Alyssa Marie Artistry on there, which love her. They were like, these shadows are very pigmented. You have to be very careful. like pretty much like a slap in our face that we don't know how to use eyeshadow. Like if so many people are having problems with this palette, I'm pretty sure it's not the people. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's just an eyeshadow palette. It's really not a big deal. But you know, we love makeup. We're makeup enthusiasts. This is kind of our life. So if we spend money on this, we want it to work. So let me know what you want to see. You can subscribe, like, follow me on my Instagram. I'll always have my Instagram in the description box along with all the other makeup that I'm wearing. And I am still doing the giveaway probably within the next month. So check my Instagram for that. Just keep an eye out. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.